Welcome to the session 6 or the week 6 of qualitative research methods, or officially we call it the method of communication research, qualitative. And this week we're going to discuss about interview. Interview is definitely, most of you heard and think, as one of the most commonly used research methods, especially when you are doing qualitative. Even when you do quantitative research, then interview is also one of the most common methods being used to obtain the information. So it's going to be complementary to the other. And this is because interview is one of the most basic communication research methods. And every communication students have to know and master this, along with, in my opinion, content analysis, because they are, like I said earlier, are the most basic and the most common research methods that communication students will use either when they're studying or when they are working. Also, interview is a very powerful, very accurate, and efficient if you know how to do it properly. And this is something that we're going to discuss during the session about how to do an interview. Okay, so what are the basics or the fundamentals of the interview? Just like any other research, you need to define what do you want to know. And you have to define it very clearly. Otherwise, you will be just wasting your time, and worse, somebody else's time. Because in interview, we are actually intruding. Yes, we are intruding somebody's space and time. We are asking the time, we are going into their space, personal space, and we ask them questions. This is particularly true if this is a direct interview, an interview which is conducted face-to-face, like a journalist mostly often do, and then also if you're a researcher and doing a face-to-face interview. And also, I think this is known, but people often forgot that because interview is conducted to another human being, we have to put respect to whoever we are dealing with as the first and utmost number one concern. So you have to treat them, whoever you are interviewing, and with the utmost respect, because without it, then it's not going to work. And that is something that we always have to remember. Also, you need to measure your time properly. Some interview takes a very short time. Some interview takes quite a longer time. So ensure that you have sufficient time to do the proper interview. Otherwise, you need to make an arrangement to find a different time to continue your interview. Because this is because we have to respect the other person. We can only provide us a certain amount of time, and if it's not available, so if it's going to be longer than what's available, then it's only proper that we arrange in another time afterwards. All right, is there any other thing? Oh yes, if possible, inform your sources. What do you want to know even before you do your interview? This small gesture will go to a long way. Yes, they'll be more prepared, and maybe they will be less likely to be more spontaneous. But then for your sources, they will be much happier because they know what to expect and what to prepare. And for you, you can ensure that all the points that you want to ask will be taken by your sources. So you know it's gonna be well understood and well accepted. And of course, then if this is not going to be a spontaneous interview, then you can always do a check about the validity of the informations. Now, on this note, I would say again, read on the Damon and Holloway book. I repeat, read Damon and Holloway's book about the data validity. You need to get really familiar about it, and it's very important for you to know about it. All right. There are many other things that need to know about interview. It's not just going to straight into somebody's face and say, I want to talk to you now. First of all, there are many types of interviews. And of course, the most popular ones are the direct and indirect ones. Direct ones means you do the interview directly with the person, face-to-face, at the same time, same place. And then it's the most common thing that happens. But there are also indirect interview, which means that you are utilizing mediums, like you send email, you send voice messages, and then the other party will respond by email or by messages or whatever it is. But it didn't happen in the real time, not at the same time. And you don't see them face-to-face. This might happen because of the distance problem and maybe the different times, etc. So both methods are actually fine. Both are very good and valid research methods, but you need to get familiar about the limitations. So again, read all the textbook. It talks about the interviews, and then get familiar with them. Okay, I said this in the slide that unless you are doing exploratory research, try to have your interview as structured as you can. Why am I saying this? This is because if you just ask the question for the sake of asking the questions, often then you will go through in a not structural way, and it will end up in a very chaotic result. You may not get the information, or you may get your information you need, but after a long period of time and processes which can be very tiring, and in some worst cases can be very annoying, particularly for those people that you are interviewing with. So it will be better instead that you let them know what you want to do, and then let them clearly know what exactly you want to know. And you can actually do that before that you met them. Before you make the appointment, you inform them that these are the points that I would like to discuss. Well, yes, some people might prefer to have more spontaneous research, but then again, be careful and note on what type of research that you are doing. Some small important points: be clear, be direct, and most importantly, be polite. And then again, when you're done your interview, make sure all the information and the data should be well documented and be protected. Put it in a safe place, and then always have a copy or a backup copies. So in case something happened with the one data, you still have a couple sets of other data. Again, like any other research methods, you have to refer to the textbook. Then in this case, I strongly suggest at the very least, you have to read Christine Damon and Amy Holloway book, Qualitative Research Method in Public Relations and Marketing Communications. That's one book. And the other one is Arthur Asa Berger, Media and Communication Research Methods, an Introduction to Qualitative and Quantitative Approaches. Those books are excellent as an entry-level readings for researchers, and that can last for a long time, and it gives a very good explanations about how and to do an interview. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any questions, please email me. See you.